What's up, my boomers? It's me, Melanie Mac, here on my social commentary channel, Melanie Mac Go Boom. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. So, for today's video, I'm going to dunk on Rings of Power some more because we got a new image of Galadriel on a magazine cover of Empire. So, I'm like, all right, well, this gives me a good chance to dunk on Rings of Power some more because it's one of my favorite. All right, quick interruption here to talk about my sponsor for today's video. Well, in general, but I'm just shouting them out on today's video. Just so you know, it's that time again. G Fuel, 30% off with code MAC now through the 6th. Okay, so if you want to stock up on your G Fuel goodness, go ahead and do that on the G Fuel website, gfuel.com. Use code MAC. My code is good for 30%. It's normally 10%, but it's 30% now through the 6th. This is a great way to support me and my content because this is a great sponsor of mine, and I really appreciate them. They have the energy drinks in the cans, which are really good. This is the watermelon limeade, which is just delicious. And they also have the tubs. They have the caffeine-free formulas as well. I drink a lot of these. Now, the ones in the bottles are you can only get from Amazon, so my code won't work there, unfortunately. But they have the hydration formulas in the tubs, and you can save 30% off with code MAC that way. So, back to the video. Lately, so let me go ahead and pull it up here. I made this tweet where I said, I'll never understand why Hollywood thinks making women act like men is supposed to be an empowering thing for us. Now, this is a quote tweet because Nerdrotic tweeted this image and said, warrior man spreading Galadriel. Yeah, so this is what we've got here. The man spread, and it's just it's so awkward to me. First of all, because this does not represent Galadriel at all. Like, dude, I know I'm not super versed in the books and all that I'm just a fan from, like, the movies or whatever. But when I think of Galadriel, I think this ethereal, hyper feminine woman who is just powerful, man. Like, and, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. This is just I don't know. And here's the thing is, like I said in my caption as well, I don't understand that why it's just like they want to completely transform the nature of the character instead of her being this graceful, womanly, feminine, powerful being. In that sense, they're like, hey, let's just make her let's make her seem like an adolescent boy, basically. And I'm just saying, like, I'm all for tomboys and all that. I'm a tomboy. I've been a tomboy my whole life. But there's a difference between being a tomboy and then just trying to make the character appear like a boy and act just like a boy. The whole man spreading thing, I can tell you, I've never in the history of my life comfortably sat in a man spread stance. You know, it's funny. Just when I was at the gym yesterday, it was leg day, which I'm still feeling. But you know that machine where you have to spread your legs out and the thing, it works your inner thighs, and so you squeeze them together, and I'm telling you, anytime like after I rest between sets, that would be the natural position, would just be to chill like that. I have to move my leg, and because it's just so uncomfortable, even when working on that machine, just, you know, just like, okay, it just doesn't feel natural. And yeah, I don't care what, you know, and if people don't know for sure, if you're not a woman and you don't understand, we're not at home chilling. It's one thing to be like, okay, well, I have to be a certain way out in public or whatever. But then when I'm at home, I let loose. Even letting loose, the man spread stance is just not a comfortable one, and it's not one that I ever do. I'm not sitting watching TV in my house man spread. It's just the reason why men man spread is because of the anatomy. It's just like, and for us women, we don't share that anatomy. So there's no reason for us to be sitting like that. So it just feels forced. And I just think it's so odd that when they're trying to portray a powerful female character that they just try to make her look and act like a dude. It's just not working. Now, some of the comments here were really great. So yeah, Denzel here writing female characters for his stuff. He says, don't worry, I like the girly girls. And like, that's the thing, is they don't have to be girly girls even. I think you can still portray a good tomboy character. I mean, like I said, I'm a tomboy. I like tomboy characters. But you don't have to make them like men. You know what I mean? There's a difference. I'm so tired. Fake it till you make it, but for the wrong reasons. It's Hollywood. They either go too far or not far enough, and it's because they can't even read the room. Never mind react appropriately to it. Even got the man spread going on, and the hashtag not Galadriel. There was somebody else who made a comment, which I'm not seeing at the top of my list here. But anyway, they said, dude, she's an elf. Like, the dude elves are more feminine than this. Yeah, it's true. So, yeah, this is where we're at. Rings of Power just looks absolutely atrocious so far. And nothing they are doing is redeeming it. It's like they know our criticisms, they know what we don't like, and they don't care because they're dropping stuff like this for promo material. They don't care. It's like they're shoving it in our faces even more. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they're laughing by the time it drops and nobody's watching it. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Let me go ahead and go into some comments from recent videos because I pulled a lot of them. So this was for my double standard video about sexualization of male characters, all that kind of stuff that's been going on more prevalently to the point of where it's gotten pretty creepy even. UXM says every male character in every Marvel movie has a lingering shirtless scene, even Peter Parker, who's supposed to be a minor. And this is from Disney, who had Scarlett Johansson lecturing everyone on sexualization of characters. The same company who's viciously attacked any creators or fans who appreciate beautiful female characters in comics. At least even prudes are consistent. But people who constantly complain about the male gaze, who then apply this huge double standard, are exposing they're only acting out of bitterness and spite rather than any real conviction. Exactly. And if you haven't seen this video, I really go into a lot more detail about it, is because I'm not against like sexualization of characters to a degree if it's like, tastefully done or whatever, but I do definitely think Hollywood can be creepy about it. So I'm not extreme on this, that I think, only fair thing is to do the same thing for Natalie Portman in this movie. I'm not all of that, because I don't even like how it was portrayed in Thor. It looked degrading, and it wasn't done in a powerful, empowering way at all. It was meant to degrade him. 7 Proxy says, to anyone who believes that you can't survive on a meat-only diet, take a look at the Inuit tribes. There's no vegetables where they live. Their diet mostly consists of meat and fish. Not only do they have better health and constitution than modern Westerners, they have better dental health too. And that's another thing, is carnivore diet is great for the dental health for sure. All right. Bertimus says, okay, now let the state convict her for many accounts of perjury. She needs some jail time regarding Amber Heard. I think she needs some jail time too, because like cutting someone's finger off. Yeah. Starbeard says, great video, very interesting information. Been shifting to the carnivore diet in the last few weeks. Been feeling better and have more energy. That's awesome. Love to see it. Nate says, I pray out loud for the most part for two reasons. One, prayer is a conversation with God, and it's just more natural to converse with someone in words. Two, my brain tends to like to chase shiny objects, so praying out loud keeps me focused on what I want to say or ask so that I don't heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, which is, he's referencing from the Bible. Exactly. This is a good point. And it's something I realize as well, is because I just have this crazy imagination. So 1 minute I may be praying for, my family. And then the next minute I'm daydreaming about rescuing a kid from oncoming traffic or something. It's like I'm imagining things before. Oh, wait, I stopped praying. And so this is why I do think praying out loud, like I said in my last video when I mentioned it, I don't think it's absolutely necessary because God will still hear you. But I think it is a good practice. I noticed myself, it's helped me stay more on track with things. And I would imagine, now this is just me speaking, not God speaking, I would imagine God would like to have our full undivided attention. And when we pray out loud, we're giving God our full undivided attention. Whereas just praying in our heads, unless you have you're very good at hyper focusing on it, we tend to drift. I'm speaking for myself there. Goldbone Grooming says, a quick thought on praying out loud. Satan and company are no more telepathic than we are. So if you always pray silently, they don't know that you aren't just in deep thought, as opposed to when you always pray vocally, they can plainly see that you are in constant communication and safe for them to hang around. I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to convey here, but I will say I picked this comment because it was one of my concerns is just like, okay, well, if I'm praying out loud, what if like the devil or demons or something are able to hear what I'm saying? They're catching my vulnerabilities and things that I don't want them knowing, all that kind of stuff. And dude, I don't know. I have like multiple opinions on this. I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comments as well. But first of all, like, Satan and his demons can't stay where they are not. Like, if you tell them to flee in the name of Jesus, then they have to do so. So, it's always good practice in general to pray over your home and to rebuke any evil spirit, any demon, anything like that in the name of Jesus, and they have to flee. So that's always a thing. I'd like to think that there aren't demons in my home, because I do pray over my home, not every day, but yeah, I do pray over my home, and it's a good practice to do. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing is another thing too is like demons and stuff, they don't like being around the presence of God. And that's why this is also my opinion why whenever people get really triggered about Christianity, or if they can't see a Bible verse or anything like that without getting really triggered about it, people who are like that, it's the demons that are triggered. And I believe that, because I do believe that demons try to influence us, and they try to, and all that kind of stuff. And so whenever you don't have God in your life and you got those demons in your life, they can be more in your life than you even realize, and influencing you more than you realize, because they're not totally making themselves known to you, because they don't want to prove the existence of God, and they want to be able to influence you. And so, when people are very, very triggered just by someone sharing a Bible verse or something like that, I think it's the demons that are being triggered. So they don't like being around that. So yeah, they're going to try to get us off track and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think that praying out loud is going to, I don't think the demons are going to like that. I don't think they're going to want to be around that, and I don't even know if, and that's the thing, is God protects us as well. And so you have to realize, is God knows when we're praying out loud, if God knows, which he would, if there were demons eavesdropping, listening in to use that against you, God would not allow anything that wouldn't strengthen you. You know what I mean? Like, okay, God did allow certain things with Job and stuff like that, and God does allow certain things in our lives, but anything that would happen from a demon eavesdropping or something like that wouldn't be something that God would not have allowed. Okay, so you just have to realize God's protecting you, and God's not going to punish you for praying to him. All right, so Sylvia says, did you notice the necklace she chose to wear? Oh, this was Amber Heard. It looks like a noose. I did not notice that. She knew she was going to lose and needed one last mind game to play the victim. That is just wild. Douglas says, what happened to the balanced diet? Because I talk about keto and carnivore all the time. Well, the balanced diet seems to have caused autoimmune diseases and obesity and all kinds of issues among the majority of people in America and even in other countries and stuff. So I'm going to say maybe the balanced diet that is constantly shoved on us is not working. Adam says, what do you think about anti-Christians blasting the failures or imperfections of specific Christians as an example of all Christians and or God? It's something I see often, and it's unreasonable to expect Christians to never fail. But also, we are supposed to be a good representation of God. When you have belligerent people ganging up to blast all of your failures in bad faith, and they won't let you ever speak for yourself or live it down. Like, how guilty should a Christian feel if that happens? How do you mitigate how much of your imperfections harm the reputation of God or Christianity? How stressed do you need to be to never screw up or get baited into looking like you screwed up? The more I try to think of answers, the more questions I have and the more conflicted I become. Well, my opinions on this is, and I do see this a lot. I'll see, one common thing is people like to, priests and things like that who have done unspeakable things to children and things of that nature. People love to use that against Christianity when it's anti-biblical. So what they're doing is not a Christian thing. These are people who call themselves Christians who are acting in unspeakable ways, and I personally don't even consider them to actually be Christians. They're not even trying to live by the commandments, and to be able to do something that horrific, no. No. So yeah, there's tons of people. I mean, in the Bible even says there's tons of people who are going to call themselves Christians, and then whenever Judgment Day comes, God's going to say, depart from me, I never knew you. And so just because someone says they're a Christian does not mean they reflect the faith. And so someone who is kid diddling and stuff like that, for example, no, they do not represent Christians, and they should be punished, and they should not even be associated with the faith and all that kind of stuff, as we know. So in terms of just regular things, though, like regular things that we stumble on sometimes, I'm thinking about myself here as a Christian. So I think, I do know me being a public figure as well. I'm like, hey, dude, like I am, people know that I'm a Christian, so I have to be, there are times where I'm like, okay, I gotta like dial it back a little bit. I gotta be careful because I don't want to make Christians look bad. So I do think about that with myself. Like sometimes on the internet, people are mean. Sometimes if I'm just like snappy, sometimes I get frustrated, and I have to check myself sometimes. I have to say, okay, wait a minute. Don't say that. Maybe I shouldn't say that to this person. Maybe that's a little mean. Maybe that's a little cold-hearted. Maybe that wouldn't look good for myself as a Christian woman. And so I'm always checking myself. But here's the thing: is we do have that on our shoulders, and we do need to take it serious. We need to take that serious, whether online or in real life. But in addition to that, there still is, like, we are still human. We're not perfect, and we're going to mess up sometimes, and it's how it is. And I think that part of that is being able to own up to the fact that, and understand the fact that we know that we're not perfect, and we know that we mess up, but that can also be an example of God's grace as well, if we use it the right way. And that's why I think it's a lot of the responsibility is on how we handle things, and when people, if they do point out things that we do or ways that we act that are not good, to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect, and thank goodness for Jesus dying on the cross for us and forgiving me. All right, Jonathan says, I was raised by a wonderful set of parents to love and respect women, and I absolutely do. And while I do tend to believe the overwhelming majority of women who make claims of abuse, this goes to show why due process of law still has to matter. Women can lie just like men can lie. I think this was a wonderful comment, Jonathan. Wonderful comment. And I agree. So let me go ahead and go into the verse of the day. I picked Colossians 3:23 through 24. It says, whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ. One thing I like about this, and it's funny because I was watching like TikTok videos. I stumbled on this one video where this woman goes, this kind of, it's related, but anyway, she goes, I strive to be like SpongeBob is what she said, because she's like, he wakes up every morning. It doesn't matter what he's been through the day before. It doesn't matter what's going on. He gets up ready to work. The dude gets up like, I'm ready. And he's ready to work, and he puts his heart into his work every single day, you know? And it's inspiring. And I thought about it, and it made me think of this verse too. And I'm like, hey, you know what? That's true. And that's admirable. And work isn't always fun. Work isn't always something we want to do. And for a lot of people, I mean, I'm lucky that I get to do this is my work and all that kind of stuff. But it hasn't always been this way. I've done jobs that, you know, normal jobs and all that kind of stuff. And for all I know, I might be doing normal jobs again in the future. This is just what I do now. But even then, like, yeah, just being able to work heartily, work as if we're working for God and not for men. I think it's a great trait. I think it's great. And I think it's something that we should aspire to. Now, obviously, we shouldn't be becoming a slave to these corporations and stuff like that. You know, I'm a firm believer in the sort of a balance in that, you know, when you have a job where you clock in and clock out, when you're clocked out, enjoy your life. You know what I mean? People who make their whole life their work, I do admire that kind of work ethic, but I also think that they are being used by corporations who don't care about them as well. So balance is important there, but that, at least being a really hard worker like that is still better than being lazy. So, yeah, I will say that. All right. Well, there you have it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I will catch you tomorrow. And in the meantime, go boom.